Hello students, welcome to Science Online Learning. Today we are going to learn about circulatory system in biology chapter 6. The circulatory system is also called as blood vascular system or cardiovascular system. And the circulatory system consists of heart, blood vessels and blood. So students, what are the three components of circulatory system? Yes, blood, heart and the blood vessels. So what is the main function of blood? Blood carries various substances like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients and waste products from one part of the body to another. And this flow of blood through all parts of the body in an orderly way or in an orderly manner is called as circulation. And this blood consists of blood cells which are called as corpuscles and a fluid called as plasma in which the corpuscles float. So in this video we will be learning about blood, the components or constituents of blood and about the functions of blood, about blood grouping and blood transfusion and about the blood vessels, heart rate, pulse, blood pressure and how to keep your heart healthy. So before starting up, let's refresh our mind by learning some amazing facts about circulatory system. Students, we all know that our heart beats 70 times a minute. But do you know that it takes only 20 seconds for a red blood cell to circle the whole body? And your heart beats faster when you are scared or when you are excited. In your lifetime, your heart pumps enough blood to fill 100 king-size swimming pools. So isn't it a large amount? Yes. And the red blood cells make approximately 250,000 trips around the body before returning to the bone marrow where they born and to die. The circulatory system is the most important system in our body which functions in a very amazing way. We will be learning in this lesson. A human blood consists of blood cells, they are called as corpuscles, and a fluid part called as plasma in which the corpuscles float. So what is plasma? Plasma is nothing but a straw colored solution which is mainly made up of water, that is 92% of it is made up of water and the rest is of glucose, proteins, waste, gases and salt. Next is we have three kind of blood cells. So one is red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. So first let's learn about red blood cells. So as you can see in this picture, RBC cells are disc shaped and each millimeter cube of human blood contain around 5 to 6 million of RBCs and they are produced within our bones and they live for 120 days and they die in our bone. And RBC cell do not have nucleus. RBC cells are filled with a protein called as hemoglobin which gives the red color to the cells. And the main function of RBC cell is to transport the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. So we have already learned in your previous lesson that hemoglobin combine with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin. And the oxygen part of the oxyhemoglobin, it is used for internal respiration in the cells. And hemoglobin also carries carbon dioxide formed in the cells to the lungs in the form of carbaminohemoglobin. Next is WBC cells, that is white blood cells. There are 5 types of WBC cells and they usually have a nucleus. They are colorless and they are shapeless. They don't have a specific shape. They can change their shape. And the main function of WBC cell is they protect our body from any sort of infection. So when any infection occurs, what will happen? The WBC cell will reach the site. They will squeeze through the blood vessel and they will reach the site of infection. There they will surround the germs and they will destroy the germs by digesting them. And they also give out some protein called as antibodies. So these antibodies, they act on the foreign bodies or they act on the germs and they make the germs inactive or else they kill the germs. So this is how WBC cells help in protecting against infection. So third one is platelets. So these platelets are also disc shaped. They are very small without a nucleus. Platelets are formed within the bones. Okay, all these cells, WBC, RBC, platelet, all these are formed within the bones, and there are around 1.5 lakh to 4 lakh platelet cells in about millimeter cube of blood. And the main function of platelet is they help in clotting of blood. So because our blood clots in just few seconds, too much of blood loss is prevented. If clotting of blood doesn't happen, then what will happen, students? Yes, there will be excessive bleeding from the injured area. So platelets are the one which help in clotting of the blood. Clotting of blood means thickening of the blood, which blocks the flow of blood from the damaged blood vessels. So next, we are going to learn about the functions of blood. What are the functions of blood? So you have already learned that blood help in transporting the digested food from small intestine to different cells in our body. And the blood transport oxygen from the lungs to various cells from our body. They transport carbon dioxide from different cells to the lungs. Blood carry waste which is produced in the cells to the excretory organs. Blood also transport chemicals called as hormones, and the hormones help in controlling many functions that happen in our body. And the WBC cells which are present in our blood help in fighting against infections. Platelet cells in our blood help in clotting of blood in case of injury. And blood also help in maintaining the balance of water in our body. So how do they maintain the balance of water? So the excess water or waste water from the cells get transmitted to the blood. When our cells are in need of water, blood will provide the water back to the cells. And blood also help in regulating our body temperature. So the balance of temperature and the balance of water is maintained by blood. Next is blood donation. So what happens in blood donation? Blood donation is a process by which a healthy adult donate a certain volume of his blood to a person who is in need. A healthy person can donate blood every 3 months. And it is not harmful for us to donate blood because our body can produce the blood within few days. Okay, within few days our body can again reproduce the blood. And a donor can donate blood at any blood donation agency. It can be any hospital or any blood bank or any private agencies like Red Cross or other voluntary agencies also. So such a store of blood is called blood bank. So in this agencies or hospital, blood is stored and such a place is called as blood bank. And blood banks store blood of all group after careful examination to check that the donated blood is. So they do lot of tests to confirm that the donated blood is free of all the microorganisms or germs. And they supply the blood and the other components of blood to patients who need them. So blood donation can actually help them to save their lives. Before blood donation, one has to go through many number of tests. They will check your hemoglobin level, whether you have the normal hemoglobin to donate blood. And they will check whether you have any infection in your blood, any microorganism is present in your blood, and they will check whether your blood group and the recipient blood group is matching with each other, whether the donors and the recipient blood group is matching. So all these things will be confirmed before blood donation. So there are 4 types of blood group: A, B, AB and O. So it is very important for us to know our blood group, because in case if any accident or any serious injuries happen, we must be able to tell our blood group. So the process of receiving blood is called as blood transfusion, and the person who is receiving the blood is called as recipient, whereas the person who is giving the blood or donating the blood is called as donor. Who needs a blood transfusion? In case of any serious accidents, life-threatening diseases, okay, during any surgeries or illness, people commonly need blood donation. And if a person is severely anemic, so again we need blood transfusion. In some cases, we transfuse the components of blood also. For example, we have got plasma transfusion, we have got platelet transfusion or red cells transfusion, and in most of the cases we do whole blood transfusion. Depending on their blood group, the recipients can receive blood only from certain blood groups. Similarly, a donor can donate his blood only to certain people with certain blood group. So people with blood group A can donate their blood to people having blood group A and AB, whereas they can receive the blood from A and O. And second, people having blood group B, they can donate their blood to B and AB, whereas they can receive the blood from B and O. Whereas people with blood group AB, they can donate their blood only to AB, but they can receive blood from all the blood groups. So they are called as universal recipient. And blood group O people having blood group O, they can donate the blood to anyone. They can donate the blood to all the people who are having any type of blood group, but they can receive blood from only O blood group people. Those with blood group O can donate their blood to everyone, and they are called as universal donors. And those people with blood group AB can receive blood from all the groups, so they are called as universal recipients. Next is blood vessels. So the tube-like structures which carry blood is called as blood vessels. There are three types: artery, veins and capillaries. Arteries carry blood from the heart to other part of the body. They carry oxygenated blood, that is blood which is rich in oxygen. The walls of arteries are thick and elastic to withstand the pressure of the blood from the heart. And the veins carry blood from various parts of the body to the heart. Veins are usually wider than the artery, but their walls are very thin because blood flows in the vein with a low pressure than in the artery. And most of the veins, they carry deoxygenated blood, that is blood rich in carbon dioxide. Blood vessels that you see under your skin is actually but arteries like deep inside the body, so we won't be able to see the arteries. And the last one is capillaries. The arteries branch into smaller branches called as arteriole, which further branches into fine branches called as capillaries. So the capillaries are very small or very fine, so that they can reach all part of our body. So you should remember that alveoli is covered by blood capillaries and your small intestine is covered by blood capillaries. So the main function of capillaries is they have a thin wall which allow the movement of oxygen from the alveoli to the capillaries. And similarly, the movement of carbon dioxide and other materials from the cells to the capillaries, which further moves into the venule and which form very big branch called as vein. And vein will finally reach the heart. From the heart, it is pumped to the lungs for oxygenation. You should remember that arteries divided into smaller branches called as arteriole, which divide into fine branches called as capillaries. The capillaries join up to form small branches of venule, which form veins. Lastly, we are going to learn about heart and circulation. So heart is the muscular organ. It is a pouch of muscles. It is located between your lungs. And the main function of heart is to pump blood and to maintain circulation. And your heart is made up of a special kind of muscle called as cardiac muscle. And the cardiac muscles, they work without rest and they keep the heart functioning throughout our life. And as you can see in this picture, heart has got 4 chambers, and the upper chambers are called right auricle or right atrium and left auricle or left atrium. And the lower chamber of heart, they are called as right ventricle and left ventricle. So as I told, the auricles are also called as atrium. So we can call it as right atrium or right auricle, left auricle or left atrium. And the septum is the one which separates the right ventricle from the left ventricle. And there are veins which carry deoxygenated blood from the body, from the upper part of the body and the lower part of the body. And we also have arteries which are coming out from the heart, which carry oxygenated blood to different part of our body. Next, we are going to learn about the most important part: how does blood circulation happens. The deoxygenated blood from our cells, it flow into the heart through two main veins. Okay, these are two major veins. The one vein will carry all the deoxygenated blood from upper part of the body, and another way it will carry the deoxygenated blood from the lower part of the body. So both this vein, it enters the right atrium or right auricles, and in the right auricle, from the right auricle, it passes to the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle it flows into the lungs where gas exchange happens. Two arteries from the right ventricle carry the blood to the lungs for purification or for gas exchange, and the carbon dioxide in the blood passes into the alveoli, and oxygen from the alveoli enter the blood in the lung. Then the oxygenated blood from the lungs will enter the left auricle through four veins. Okay, vein carries the oxygenated blood in the heart. Then it passes on to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, it is pumped out through one major artery called as aorta. This major artery again branches into smaller arteries and ultimately into capillaries that carry the oxygenated blood to the cells. Next is heartbeat. So what is heartbeat? The contraction of heart muscles produce a sound called as heartbeat. So this sound is lub-dub. So doctors use a stethoscope to hear the sound of heartbeat, and our heart beats around 72 times per minute. And you can even feel the count of heartbeat by feeling your pulse. So what is pulse? Pulse is the throbbing or swelling of your arteries each time blood is pumped by the left ventricle into the arteries. So each time when left ventricle pump the blood into the arteries, you feel the throbbing and swelling of your arteries. And this pulse rate, the pulse rate is 72 per minute. So for 1 minute our heart pumps 72 times. So it differs for people. Different people will have different pulse rate based on the age, based on how healthy they are, based on the physical activity they do. So next one is blood pressure. So what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the pressure which is exerted by the blood on the walls of the blood vessels. So we call it as blood pressure. And doctors measure the blood pressure on the walls of the arteries, and it is called as arterial blood pressure. So arterial blood pressure is the value of maximum pressure divided by the value of minimum pressure. And even blood pressure can vary according to the age of a person, based on the diseases he have, based on emotional state. When we are angry or scared, our blood pressure used to increase. So if your blood pressure is more than the normal over a long period of time, then it is very dangerous to our health. And we use an instrument called as sphygmomanometer to measure the blood pressure. So in order to keep our heart healthy, we have to do adequate exercise. We have to eat regularly, eat healthy food, take adequate rest, relax well, and drinking alcohol and smoking, chewing tobacco, all these harmful habits are very dangerous to our health. Thank you students for watching this video till the end. Have a nice day.